Today we're going to talk through and listen through an instrument that I use a lot, my Fodera Monarch P Standard Classic. This video was inspired by one of you who wrote me and asked me to deep dive a little bit more on my instruments, particularly my basses. As time goes on, I think we'll also look at some of the other instruments that are not basses that I really love too. So this instrument is one of Fodera's standard series instruments. It's basically a popular options instrument with little or no customization. This particular instrument was started in August of 2021 and it was finished in January of 2022. This particular bass has an alder body finished in sunburst. I decided to do this finish because it was inspired by James Jamerson's bass. This instrument has a 3-piece maple neck, although it's cut in the standard profile, unlike my other two custom Foderas. Like many other standards, it's a bolt-on. This model has an Indian rosewood fretboard, which I chose for tone. Also, it lines up again with James Jamerson's bass. With one of the few things that you can customize on the standard series basses, I chose to have this one have a painted black headstock. I felt that this look was better than the natural wood that's on most of the standard series basses. This one is a 34-inch scale bass with 22 frets. The bridge comes adjusted for 19 millimeters, although I was able to adjust it down to get it closer to the 17.5 millimeter setting that I typically play on all of my other basses. This particular P has the Seymour Duncan pickups, unlike the other model which has the Aguilar pickups. I chose this one because I felt like it was more accurate to the vintage sound that I was looking for. This is a passive instrument, no active preamp, so the only controls on this are volume and tone. Altogether, this instrument came in at just under 9 pounds on the scale. When we had this built, I particularly asked for a lighter weight body. For the sake of audio transparency, this was recorded directly through a Focusrite Scarlett. I passed it from 60 Hertz, and I've compressed it just lightly. Currently, this bass is set up with light action and with Tomastic jazz flats on it, which are at this point about 5 months old. Now I'm going to play the same thing for you on this bass with 3 different tone settings. We're going to start with full off tone, 50%, and then full tone on. So I super love this instrument. It meets every single one of my needs, and at this point it's broken in really well. Had I done this over again, I would do things a little bit differently, but with a custom instrument. I'd do the following. I would do 17.5 millimeter spacing from the start. It'd be easier than adjusting it down from 19, which I can't quite get to 17.5 millimeter on the standard bridge, but I can get pretty close. So it's still very, very comfortable. I would also do a roasted alder body. I feel like I would tonally get where I was quicker, although like I just said, this bass has broken in very well over time. I also actually would have asked for a slightly heavier body. I feel like in the early stages of this bass that it was kind of missing a little bit of body, which it's now gained back over time. And last but not least, I would have loved to have roasted the neck for the same tonal reasons. I feel like you get closer to more mature tones much quicker when you roast the woods in these instruments. One last fun note about this instrument, it's actually been drenched in water and is still in really good shape. On a lot of tour buses, there is a shower, which almost nobody ever uses. So, you go to the driver, you tell the driver, shut off the water valve to that area so that you can use it for storage, and then you put your things in there. Well, we did that. Our driver at the time told us that he had shut the valve off. He did not. and we proceeded to put a whole bunch of gear and laptops and all kinds of things in the shower. And one morning I got woken up at 7 a.m. by somebody who had told me that it was likely that the shower had run on my instrument for hours that morning. When I pulled it out, all of the cavities were full of water. You could tell, you know, the neck had shifted. You could tell that it was just full of moisture, just completely drenched. It took about 2 days of setups and adjustments before it was really great again. And then maybe about 2 months later, I was able to actually stop into Fodera and have Joey look at it again. And he said, you know, if you hadn't told me that this had been underwater, I would have never known. So, and even to this point, this bass is in really great shape. I would go as far as saying perfect shape in terms of, you know, setup and action and feel and everything else like that. It's almost like it had never been in the shower. So seems to me that Fodera ends up choosing some really good woods. Thanks so much for watching this video. Keep watching my channel as time goes on, and we'll break down some more instruments that I really, really love. As always, if you can, like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications.